folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death, Issue 3 by Dark Horse. Now there is fighting, a bit of blood, and attempted murder in this one. Oh, and bad dreams. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the creative team. So I have finally found issue 3, after a whole lot of digging, but fuck it, I was determined to see how the story would end. Right, so when we last left Hellboy and Mac, they went into the storage, to the warehouse where they stored all the film props. As that's what the headquarters originally in Connecticut was, a filming studio. So he goes in, still hallucinating that he's with Lobster Johnson and he's the Scarlet Crab. And he sees a painting of some old man and is like, oh, he looks evil. And then Lobster Johnson begins to tell him that this is their mission. So the man in the picture, he's an evil magician. His family ruled over some village for generations, but he became like the worst ruler, the most cruel of all of them. And the villagers just had enough, so they decided that that's it. They took pitchforks and fire and were heading his way to take care of it Dr. Frankenstein style. And he saw this and got enraged that they would dare do this, and summoned a mist, but not a regular one, a killer mist. And it went down all over the castle and started to kill the villagers. Those who managed to escape it said that it was like the mist had a mind of its own. And so the evil magician looked upon them and watched them die. And then one villager, and this is the last thing he will ever do, in one final brave attempt before he died, shot an arrow and it hit the magician right in the heart. And he fell backwards and died. And since the mist no longer had a master, it just lingered in the castle. And then, let's say many centuries later, a branch of Nazis that wanted to take down the U.S. Found it and sucked it and decided to use it for their own thing. And the way they're using it in the hallucination is they kidnapped some specialists to build them a rocket. They kidnapped him and his family and said, if you don't build this for us, we're going to kill you. So now Hellboy and Lobster Johnson, they have to save him and his family and prevent the missile from being sent. So Hellboy continues to walk through the warehouse, thinking that all these props are, the zombies or whatever that are out to attack him. We go shortly to Robert. As he's walking there, he's remembering when he was young how he was taught to fight with the dagger for the day that he came across the beast or Hellboy, and then he would kill it. So I take it that was way before Hellboy came. At least I think so. At this point, Hellboy wasn't that many years with the BPRD yet. They're just moving to a new base. Poor kid. His whole life was wasted. Yeah, I mean Roberts. So yeah, he remembers that. And then he again says he keeps repeating the prophecy basically all the time to himself like a madman. Hellboy, and I Hellboy. And then he cuts himself with the dagger and keeps going. Then we go briefly to the professor who's having a dream. Like a bad dream. He's dreaming of the island again. Dreaming of Scarlet. What was it? No, it's Scarlet Santiago, I think it was her name. Sky Devil. Of course, he doesn't really remember who she is because their memories were taken away for the safety of the island. And he dreams of her, and then I guess he doesn't dream of Robert, but he dreams of the man in that story, the hidden island that tried to kill Hellboy, the one that caused their plane to crash. And he dreams of him holding the dagger, and then he wakes up, and he's like, ah, shit, what a weird dream. Better think about it later. And he goes to check on Hellboy, wanting to see if his fever maybe got down. And of course, when he opens the door, he sees that Hellboy is gone. Then we go back to Hellboy. He continues through and through the warehouse, fighting suits of armor, thinking they're these warriors attacking them. And then he kicks one. He's taking slightly breaks here and there because again he's sick, not feeling well. And then he falls into a pile of coats, and then he gets up again and hits something, and it's a fire extinguisher, and it not explodes, but yeah, it starts releasing all the what's inside it to extinguish fire. And from that mist, he's like, he sees a figure, and he's like, ah, Lobster Johnson, but it's not. It's Robert. And now Hellboy doesn't see Robert as himself. He sees him as the zombie with the dagger. And he's like, ah. But then before Robert can try to hurt him, Sam, or Samuel, the janitor that talked about previous issues, he jumps on Robert and tells Hellboy to run. He and Robert scuffle, but then Robert cuts him with the dagger, causing him to bleed, and then like kicks him away from him, and Sam falls back on some crates, and then they crush him. He's fine. Just they fall on him, and then Sam looks at him. He says he's just a kid. And then, Robert keeps repeating, he'll bring destruction, and I will make sure that he doesn't. And then he goes away, and then we see Hellboy. He ran a bit forward, and he's sitting on the ground trying to catch his breath, not feeling well. And then Lobster Johnson appears again and says there is no time to rest. The evil never rests. We must go. Hellboy's like, well, yes, of course. He gets up and he asks Lobster Johnson, do you ever take naps? And Lobster Johnson's no. That was, well, I figured. And that's it. They continue on forward to get to the missile. And that's where the third issue ends. Alright, so first the cover. I quite like what they did with this cover. You see Lobster Johnson big with a spot of light on him. And then you got Hellboy and Mac running down there, a bit smaller. This is Hellboy's costume. I quite like it. Oh, that's our cover. Okay, let me show you a bit of art. You see there's the studios. I know it's called Angel Studios, or used to be. You see it's got studios and an angel. There's Hellboy and Mac. Mac's worried about him throughout the whole thing, and he barks. You see, that's who he thinks the magician is. Hellboy has quite the imagination, though, because he's hallucinating all this, so he's making it up. You see, this is where Lobster Johnson tells him about everything. You see, there's the villagers, there's the evil magician, there's the killer mist. Or so I would call it. There it is. Alright. Yes, I think this is going where I thought it would. Here we have another encounter, but not yet a full face-off between Robert and Hellboy. However that will go. Because, again, will Hellboy at some point realize that all this isn't real, or will he keep thinking that it is? Because right now he's thinking all this is real, and he's actually fighting someone, and who will end up saving him, really? Because in this vulnerable state, demon or not, he is still just a child. And, he is half human as well. So, It's left to be seen what will really happen and who can rescue him. Will the professor be the one to get to him in time, or will it be someone else? Well, Sam's there, so he might actually save him. I might go after. I'll keep going after him. And his obviously Lobster Johnson isn't really there, but man, how Hellboy wants to believe it. I don't blame him. Lobster Johnson's fucking cool. So yeah, it's going how I thought. Now the question is how will it wrap up? Um, yeah, I mean, I imagine that's it. In the last issue, we'll finally face off Robert, and we'll see. Will they arrest Robert? What will happen to him? And what about this cult? It keeps or the Brothers of Desolation. They're very determined to get Hellboy. And they, yes, they are terrified of the prophecy, but you think Hellboy's still a kid, right? I don't know, maybe talk about it or something. No, let's just murder him. Surprised they only send one agent at a time as well. I mean, wouldn't it be more official to plan a full attack and send a lot of members after? Granted, perhaps they can't really do that because they need them to also see the vision, or else they can't properly brainwash. Teach them. That does kind of seem like brainwashing, right? If Robert, like those two other kids that went with him, wouldn't have seen the vision, he would have probably had a normal life by now. Sad. But yeah, that's it. That's issue 3 of Assault on Castle Death. On to the ending. I look forward to it. Alright, folks, so let me know if you've read issue 3 of Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death, and what did you think about it? And remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!